From claims of verbal trickery to accusations of unfair trade practices, Warner Bros. Discovery has brought a lawsuit against Paramount for airing South Park on its streaming platform, Paramount Plus. Now, you might be thinking, since the show's new episodes air on Comedy Central, a channel owned by Paramount, how is this a problem? Well, turns out HBO won the streaming rights to South Park back in 2019. And not for a small sum, mind you. If sources are anything to go by, then the deal was valued at between $500 to $550 million. What is more, not only did this multi-year licensing deal cover all 23 seasons, but also 3 new ones, consisting of 30 episodes each. These new episodes, as far as I have understood, were supposed to air on HBO Max 24 hours after they had debuted on Comedy Central. Now, I am by no means an expert on streamers, but I kind of see why they may have made this deal. You see, legacy shows with dedicated fan bases are a great way to increase engagement. Think about the number of times you've binged popular shows, like Friends, for instance, and it'll start to make sense. Another reason why HBO, as well as other streamers like Netflix, were eyeing this deal is teenagers who missed the original runs. Come to think of it, Kevin Riley, HBO Max's chief content officer, also expressed this idea when the deal was first signed. If I remember correctly, he said how the show has set the satirical gold standard, and so holds a consistent finger over people's comedy pulse. He then went on to mention how since audiences have already connected to the characters of Kenny, Cartman, and Stan, they would be using this deal to bring these characters and more to newer audiences. But at the end of the day, the venture still came down to increasing and retaining viewership, like I said. This lawsuit, as a matter of fact, can be chalked up to the same factor. That said, let's check out its key details. Now, from what I have gathered, HBO Warner Bros.' first claim is that shortly after the auction went through, Paramount illicitly started diverting South Park content to its newly launched streaming service, Paramount Plus. And not just that, the company also brought Trey Parker and Matt Stone's 2019 $900 million deal with MTV, one of Paramount's subsidiaries, into question. They alleged that the exclusive content, as well as the 14 movies that the creators promised to the channel, all violate the 2019 contract. Now, if you're thinking that's all, think again. The companies are at odds over 16 or so episodes as well. Remember how I explained that the deal included 30 new episodes? Turns out HBO only received 14 episodes in total. While I may be wrong, I think that South Park Digital Studios had cited that COVID-19 pandemic as an excuse not to deliver. In case you're confused where they fit in, they've been named as defendants in the lawsuit as well. And get this, after telling Warner Bros. That filming on new content had been halted amidst the pandemic, they went ahead and sold not one, but 2 pandemic-related movies to Paramount. Now, seeing that Warner Bros. Paid them around $1.6 million for each episode, they're also claiming damages close to $200 million. Certain sources also say that they haven't disclosed the amount and only plan on coming forward with it once the case is in trial. As for the verbal trickery that I hinted at in the intro, the whole pandemic episode shebang was referred to as such in the lawsuit. It further refers to how Paramount Global used words such as events, films, and movies to break its agreement. Having stated HBO Warner Bros. Side of the story, it's time we discuss Paramount's version of it. According to what a representative told Variety, there is no truth to any of these claims. In fact, it seems that it's Warner Bros. That has failed to adhere to the parties' contract by failing and refusing to pay license fees. Simply put, HBO owes Paramount for episodes that have already been delivered, and which it also continues to stream. Yeah, the plot keeps thickening. Speaking of plots, Stone and Parker's lawyers didn't immediately respond to the media's request for comments. For those of you who are thinking how this will end, I unfortunately am not a seer. But let me just tell you that there are people who think that much like their disastrous merger, this spat won't end well for Warner Brothers. Several people that I talked to also find these big corporations beefing over South Park pretty hilarious. Like, come on! The franchise's most recent special was titled The Streaming Wars and focused on using pee during drought. What I'm trying to say is that perhaps we'll see this whole fiasco being skewed by the very show somewhere in the near future. In more serious terms, once the deal is over, somewhere, if I'm not wrong, in 2025, Paramount Plus is going to become South Park's global streamer, a position, as some of you might know, that Netflix was vying for at the time that HBO won the rights to stream the show in the US. Yep, you heard that right. Coming back to the point, this move is going to take place in two steps. In the first place, the episodes will shift exclusively to SVOD, to the Viacom US streamer, in international markets. However, by 2024 or season 27, new episodes will make their streaming debuts exclusively on the service, both in the US and globally. Come 2025, Paramount Plus will finally become the global home for all things South Park. This includes, but is by no means limited to, the full catalog of South Park episodes, movies, and made-for-streaming movies. Speaking of, according to the deal that the show's creators made with the company, they'll be extending the show to have 30 whole seasons. To boot, there will also be not one, but 14 original made-for-streaming movies as well. Now, for those of you who didn't know, it's already the exclusive home of two South Park made-for-streaming movies. That is, South Park Post-COVID and South Park Post-COVID: The Return of COVID. Yep, you got it. These are the two movies that have become a point of contention with HBO Max. In case you're wondering how I found out, well, it's no secret. Chris McCarthy, Paramount Plus's chief content officer of unscripted entertainment and adult animation, announced it. If memory serves, it was at the Viacom CBS Investors event. If that has piqued your interest, here's some more good news for you. The MTV animated series Beavis and Butthead will also follow suit. Aside from the library of over 200 remastered episodes, the revival series, originally set at Comedy Central, with a 2-season order in 2020, will be joining South Park with a new season as well. To add to that, it'll also be joining the previously announced Beavis and Butthead movie, which, I just discovered, has been renamed Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe. Intense. Anywho, there were rumors that the Darius spinoff, Jody, would also be relocating to the streamer. However, Viacom CBS has denied this. For those of you who don't see a point in any of this, well, take it up with McCarthy, because he believes that as two of the most famous adult animation intellectual properties in the history of the genre, expanding both Beavis and Butthead and South Park will do wonders for Viacom CBS's treasure chest of IPs. Well, looking at the state of streamers like Netflix right now, I sure hope it works out for them. So there you have it. This was the full scoop on why Warner Brothers Discovery is taking Paramount to court.